Hello, everybody. It's Latte Punch again. Sorry about not picking up last week, but to make up for that, I have a story by Lightning Sword. Also, one film fan fiction. I will leave a link to him, and there's no real link to this picture, so I'm guessing he or she made it. It's called Rainbow Dash OOC. Something seems wrong with Rainbow Dash. She's acting nice, caring, considerate, loving, helpful, bubbly, and sweet. In other words, the complete opposite of how she normally acts. To all those who complained after reading my story, The Gentle Dark, there, happy now? I'm not sure which story he's talking about. It seems like a popular story in his gallery. If you want to check that story out, then I recommend you can read that first. Probably leave a link to that too. Or you can check out that and this at the same time. Either way. So first chapter is Rainbow Dash OOC. It's also the only chapter, of course. Wow! Isn't it just a beautiful, wonderful, pony-rific day? Rainbow Dash skipped through Ponyville. Yes, skipped. Breathing in the fresh morning air and smiling wide enough for all Equestria to see. The sun shone brightly, butterflies danced in the breeze, the birds sang a merry tune. Soon Rainbow Dash danced and sang along with them, feeling good to be alive. It was so weird. Dash stopped when she saw one of her friends crossing a busy street, then hovered over her. Hi there, Applejack, Dash greeted with a cheery grin. How are you this lovely morning? Not quite paying attention to the way in which it was imparted, Applejack continued pulling her empty cart back to Sweet Apple Acres. Oh, I'm doing fine, Rainbow Dash, she replied. Just carrying this here cart back home. Had a big delivery to make today. Really? Wow, that sounds like really hard work. I could help you if you want. That's mighty kind of you, Sure, but before Applejack could finish, Rainbow Dash slipped under the cart, lifted it in the air, and sped off into the distance, reaching Sweet Apple Acres in record time. As amazed as she was by Dash's speed, Applejack was even more amazed by her helpfulness. She had declined, and that was usually enough to lose lazy Pegasus' interest. This was highly peculiar. Yay! Dash cheered. All done. Anything else you need, my bestest, most wonderful friend in the whole world? Now it had gone from peculiar to bizarre. Applejack tried to answer. No, but I appreciate the help there, Dash. Aw, what a wonderful thing to say, Dash replied, hugging Applejack tightly. But remember, if you need me, I'm right here for you, my lovely friend. Ta-ta, and have a beautiful day. And with that, Rainbow Dash skipped away, humming a tune. Now it had gone from bizarre to disturbing. Next scene. Twilight heard a knock on the door and set down the book she was reading to go answer it. She opened the door. Her eyes told her that Rainbow Dash was on the other side. Her ears, however, told her something entirely different. Hello, lovely, sweet Twilight Sparkle. It's ever so nice to see you today. Surprised by Rainbow Dash's uncharacteristic greeting, Twilight replied, good morning, Rainbow Dash. Did you need help with something? Why, yes, I did. Gosh, you're so good at being so helpful. You see, I was looking for a special book. Twilight nodded, and glad that something made sense. Ah, I see. You want to see if the latest Daring Do novel was here, huh? Well, give me 1 second and I'll... Oh, no, not that old stuff. I wanted to know if you had a copy of a book called Pretty Prose for the Practical Pony Poet. You wouldn't happen to have it, would you? And now, sense was thrown completely out the door. Poetry? This was so unlike Rainbow Dash. And turning down the chance to read the newest Daring Do novel? What was going on? Twilight felt her librarian's obligation press her, and she invited Dash inside. Well, okay, if you're sure. I'm pretty sure it's over here. Twilight trotted over to the poetry shelf and began scrutinizing it for the title Dash asked for. She glanced over at Dash and she seemed to be passing the time by petting Owlicious. "Oh, you little feathery cutie. I could just eat you up. You're so precious. Coochie coochie coo." Owlicious hooted in a way that sounded almost like a giggle as Dash tickled him under his beak and gave him a kiss on his head. Twilight's eyes widened as if she were watching a train wreck. Rainbow Dash?" she asked, almost not wanting to hear her reply. "Are you okay? You seem different today." "Why, of course I'm okay," Dash replied with a huge smile. "I'm just being my old, cheerful, giving, helpful, loving, tolerant self today." "Why would you ask, Twilight, my dear friend?" Twilight was right. She did not want to hear that. Finally finding the book Dash had asked for, she pulled it off the shelf with her magic, and it hovered in midair before her as she walked back to Dash. "Here you go," she said, extending the book to Dash. "I'll put you down for the usual checkout rate. Just remember the checkout date, okay? You haven't been good about checking in your books on time." "Oh, don't worry, Twilight. I'll have your book back promptly by the time in exactly 1 week. In fact, what's the time?" She looked over to the nearest clock. "Aha! 10:37. Expect your book back by 10:37 in the morning, exactly 7 days from now. Oh, this is for all my overdue fees." She pulled out a large bag of bits from under her wing and set it on Twilight's desk. "Keep the change, 'kay, pal? See you later, and have a perfect day." One last tickle of Owlicious, she tucked the poetry book in her wing and skipped, yes, skipped, out of the library. "But," Twilight mumbled, unable to comprehend what just happened, "the book's due in 2 weeks." Standing stunned in the library for a good few seconds, Twilight finally broke out of her stupor, rushed to the reference shelf, ripped a book off the shelf, and dove into it. Common and Severe Neurosis of Pegasi. "And when Gilda yelled at you and hurt your feelings, I'm sorry about that. Oh, and when I gave you a hard time on that trip to talk to the dragon, yeah, I'm sorry about that too. Oh, and remember the jousting event during the Crystal Fair? Yeah, I'm really, really sorry about that too." Rainbow Dash had been shelling out apology after heartfelt apology for the last 2 hours, and although she didn't want to admit it, it was driving Fluttershy crazy. She continued apologizing even as they walked through the town. Not even leaving her house to see Rarity had stopped Dash from atoning for every single little thing she'd ever done to Fluttershy, from the time they met as Phillies in Cloudsdale to this very moment. "And the time I practically forced you to train to help with the tornado just so I could beat some silly record? I'm really sorry. Gosh, that was so selfish of me. And the time I made you walk into every forest and that phantom pony scared you? I'm so sorry. I was such an inconsiderate bully." "Rainbow Dash, please." Fluttershy spoke up over her, but recoiled quickly. "Oh, I'm sorry for interrupting, but you've said enough, really. You're my friend, and I forgive you. I really do." "Oh, but that's not enough," Dash fretted. "I've been so mean and hurtful to you. You've done nothing but forgive me and brush it off every single time. You're my friend. We came from the same town, and we're both Pegasi. We're practically sisters, and I've been a terrible sister. You don't deserve to have a meanie like me as your friend, and I don't deserve to have such a sweet, kind, caring, compassionate, sympathetic pony like you as a friend." "Rainbow Dash!" Fluttershy squealed as they both stopped, finally feeling it unnecessary to account for her rudeness. "Please, you don't have to do this. You've done bad things, I know, but you're still my friend, and I forgive you, honest. Just please stop feeling so bad about it. It's all in the past, okay?" Dash's eyes widened and misted upon hearing this, and she pulled Fluttershy in for a hug, so strong she felt several joints snap. "Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you," she cried joyfully. "You're the sweetest pony in the whole big wide world, and I will never be mean to you again, Fluttershy, I promise." If that promise was any indication of Dash's unusual behavior, then Fluttershy was inclined to miss The old, rude, lazy, pushy, selfish, tactless Rainbow Dash. They finally reached Rarity's boutique together, and when Fluttershy knocked, Rarity let them in. "Fluttershy, glad you could come, darling," the unicorn greeted her, and was surprised to see her company. "And Rainbow Dash, what a surprise! Did you want to review my latest project as well?" "Oh, I don't think so, Rarity," Fluttershy said passively. "Rainbow Dash just came with me to, say a few things to me. I didn't even tell her about—" "Ooh!" Dash squealed, fawning over a cute pink frilly dress hanging on one of the mannequins. "This is so adorable. I so need something like this for our trip to the Crystal Empire. Could you resize it a little for me, Rarity? Maybe add a few ruffles to the skirt? Oh, and a big pink bow right on the butt. Ooh, I could help you make it at least 20% cuter." Rarity was dumbstruck. It helped that Dash had found another garment to go gaga over, for she knew she had to have answers. Slowly she leaned over to Fluttershy and muttered, "What did Discord do to her?" "I thought the same thing," Fluttershy mumbled back. "But Discord's in Canterlot doing community service for Princess Celestia. He's been gone for 3 days." "Yay! A wonderful little get-together with my bestest friends in the whole wide world. So what are we celebrating, my sweet, lovely friends?" The group had reunited in Twilight's library, waiting only for their 6th friend to arrive. Applejack guarded the door. Fluttershy and Rarity stood on either side of Dash, and Twilight stood in front of her, almost as though she were interrogating Dash. "This isn't a celebration, Rainbow Dash," Twilight told her. "This is an intervention. We need to figure out why you're behaving so strangely." "Why, whatever do you mean, Twilight?" Dash smiled. "Is it really that strange to be unfriendly and helpful?" "It is for you," Applejack interjected from the door. "You're a nice pony, Sugar Cute, don't get us wrong. But this is way too much, especially for you." "Absolutely," Rarity agreed. "You aren't nearly this sickly saccharine any other day. You constantly compliment us for no reason. You apologize for every single little thing you've ever done, and you just aren't the same tough-as-nails pony we all know." Dash looked back at her friends, looking as though she wanted to cry. "But why?" she asked, her voice breaking slightly. "Why do you want me to be that way? I was mean and selfish. I was childish and immature. I was so unkind and self-centered and egotistical and pushy and obnoxious and rude. Why would you want me to be that way? Don't you like me better when I'm sweet and selfless and encouraging and gentle and unobtrusive and nice?" There was a pause in which Dash's friends glanced at each other. It seemed as though she had pointed out her own flaws very effectively, and had even gone to the trouble of deliberately casting them aside. But they had always agreed to love their friend Rainbow Dash in spite of her flaws, however many and however annoying they were sometimes. It was her strength, character, and loyalty that they respected and admired, and admittedly missed. Which was better, decent yet annoying Dash, or disgustingly nice Dash? There was a knock at the door, and Applejack answered it. "Well, it's about time. Pinkie Pie, we've been waiting for you." She cut herself off when she saw who was at the door. It closely resembled Pinkie Pie, but her coat was darker and coarser than usual. Her mane and tail were straight and limp, completely devoid of their distinct puffiness. Her eyes were blank and soulless, and had an even more lackluster feel to them than her sister Maud's. Then she spoke, and the contrast between old Pinkie and new Pinkie was even sharper. "Life is pain, cruel, unending pain. There's no way out of the torture of your pitiful, meaningless existence. Agony and misery will infect your sad, deluded souls for all eternity." The end.